Hello, friend. Tonight I want you to walk with me through a September day that starts with routine and ends with a quiet revolution of the heart. It's a story about a moment when the world felt a little heavy, and then, unexpectedly, a pair of hands, a shared poem, and a single hopeful look started to lift it. This is a romance that grows where we live in the pale light of a library, in the hush between two strangers, in the stubborn courage to keep showing up for one another even when the days are not perfect. If you've ever believed that love can be stubborn, that it refuses easy placement and insists on being earned, you'll feel seen here. On September 20th, the sun rose with a soft insistence. A reminder that nothing is truly ordinary if you're awake to the small miracles tucked between the lines. The city woke with a sigh. A chorus of coffee makers and bus brakes and the distant hum of a train that seemed to know all the routes to every heart. I walked toward a place that has become a kind of lighthouse for the hopeful, the bookstore that smells faintly of pine shelves and rain-soaked sidewalks. It's a place where people come to borrow courage the way others borrow a favorite sweater, in small doses, with the hope that it will fit again tomorrow. SFX. Morning_breeze, to the door chimed as I pushed inside, and the air shifted warm, a little cinnamon. The old paper scent that never quite leaves you. The clerk greeted me with a smile that felt like a personal welcome from an old friend. And for a moment the room paused as if listening for something I hadn't yet heard. In the poetry aisle, a quiet pile had formed like a tiny sculpture, books stacked, some tilted, some tucked in between others, all of them possibilities. On top rested a small card, folded in half, written in a careful hand, September 20th. A note that said, in effect, let us begin again, tonight. SFX. Pages_turn, I wasn't looking for a grand declaration or a sweeping destiny. Just a moment where the day could tilt toward hope. And that moment found me when a stranger reached for the same shelf, his fingers brushing mine. Our eyes catching over a shared line about rain on roofs and the way rain can have its own language. He apologized with a quick, shy smile, and I said it was my fault for not standing back. We laughed a little too loudly for a quiet library, but perfectly honest. The kind of laugh that doesn't demand anything from you except permission to stay for a second longer. The line of poetry we both reached for was a page torn from a collection of love sonnets. Ink slightly faded where the waves of the pencil had rubbed against it. He read aloud in a voice that wasn't loud, but carried a warmth that felt like a blanket even in a chilly corner of the store. Love is not the loudest thing in the room, he said. It's the quiet certainty that someone sees you even when you're not finished being seen. I nodded, and the words settled between us like a bridge you can walk across in slippers. SFX. Soft_chord, we drifted from shelf to shelf, talking in the hush that surrounds readers and the brave choice to let someone into your inner weather. He shared a few lines of a poem that felt stitched together from late-night conversations and hopeful mornings. I offered a couple of verses that always travel with me, tucked in the pocket of a worn cardigan. The ones that feel true even when life has a way of turning the page just before your name is called. There was no vow, not yet. Just a sense of timing aligning like two birds nudging the same branch. Surprised to discover they both found it comforting. We found a small café tucked behind the back wall of the shop. A place where the mugs are chipped with character and the steam fogs up the windows enough for a pause. SFX. Café_steam, he asked if I'd like to share a table, and I did. Because sometimes a shared table is the same as a shared heartbeat. We swapped stories in the intervals between sips of coffee that tasted like autumn and the promises of paneled light. The conversation wandered through small things, families and playlists, and the way a city can feel like a living poem when you notice the angles of the streetlights at dusk. It wasn't a declaration of love yet. It was a soft agreement that a second conversation could exist, and a third. The day unfolded in gentle arcs, like the curves of a well-loved poem that never quite ends the way you expect. We walked together through the rain that had begun again outside. A misty curtain that made the world seem a couple of shades more intimate. SFX. Rain. 3. We spoke about the stubborn parts of ourselves, the memories we carry. The fears that double as quiet teachers. The ways we protect our softer mornings until we're sure they're safe enough to wake again. He admitted he keeps a small notebook in which he writes lines he can't quite tell aloud. Lines that sound almost like prayers to weather and time. I told him that I also keep phrases in the margins of life. Reminders to be braver than I usually am. In the late afternoon, we found ourselves near a park with a little pond that mirrored the cloud-sketched sky. The scene felt like a postcard someone mailed to your future self. A whisper that maybe today's ordinary moment was an invitation to something steadier than a spark. We traded stories about kindnesses that happened without fanfare, the old man who handed his umbrella to a stranger, the barista who remembered a person's order even after a season of shifts, and we realized that the best kind of love often begins as courtesy and grows through constancy. SFX. Heartbeat. 1. The moment I realized we were steering towards something more than a pleasant coincidence was not dramatic. It arrived as a quiet certainty. A choice I could make without shouting it into the world. He looked at me as if I had become part of the city's map, the way streets curve around a river. The way a favorite building holds a memory of every winter. He spoke a truth I was already feeling. Sometimes love is not a rescue mission but a slow, stubborn return to the same place over and over again, until you learn the way back together. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the town in golden mauve, we lingered at the edge of the park, sharing a final small confession, the kind you say when your heart is still figuring out the shape of its courage. We spoke about the upcoming weeks like a pair of navigators plotting a route, promising to meet again, not to force a moment, but to welcome one when it appears. The day left us with a scent of rain on warm pavement and a line of poetry we both professed to love. A line that felt like a door left open. One can always choose to return to the place where love begins again. Back in the bookstore, the pile of poetry looked different now, as if it had learned our names and decided to guard them. The card on top had a new sentence scrawled beneath the September 20th note. Tonight we learned how to lean in, slowly, until the world doesn't feel so vast. I folded the card and tucked it into my pocket. A small talisman against the ordinary days that come, with a reminder of what could be if we let it happen. SFX. Soft_music_end, for if you're listening. You might wonder how a simple day could carry such a shift. It's not lightning, not a dramatic confession, but a series of small, honest moments, the way a stranger laughs at your joke. The way you share a line that feels like it was written for two people who happen to meet at the same time in the same place. It's the reminder that perseverance isn't about forcing an ending, it's about showing up, again and again, for someone who makes your heart feel safe enough to grow. And so this September 20th, this quiet day written into the margins of the calendar, begins a story. With two people who learned to listen again. To notice the poetry in piles of books. To believe that love can arrive dressed in kindness, patience, and the courage to keep turning pages together. The journey isn't over. It's simply inviting us to come back tomorrow, and the next day, to see what new lines the morning will write when two people choose to stay, to shelter, to hope. If you carry a similar ache, a longing for a love that respects your pace and respects your past, let this be a gentle nudge to keep faith in the ordinary. Because if September 20th can gift a whispered hello and a shared reverie, it can also gift a future where us feels like home. Not a destination but a daily choice. And that is a kind of happy ending, not loud or dramatic, but steady. As sure as the turning of a page and the sigh of a well-worn spine. SFX. End_chime. 2. If you've enjoyed walking through this small, intimate romance with me, tell yourself you'll carry a thread of it into tomorrow. The belief that love grows in the spaces we tend with care. In the work of showing up for one another. And in the quiet bravery of letting someone into your story one page at a time. That's how the best endings begin, in the simple, faithful act of staying. And in choosing to begin